All right, everybody. Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Vincent. I will be letting you guys know about this speech, I guess. So, anyone who has ever had a job has probably and most likely, at one point or another, had a coworker or another person that they thought was incompetent or someone just not really in the best way, I guess. Maybe not incompetent in life, but or in the literal sense, but definitely wondering how they made it this far. So, whether it's something that they say like misusing words, something like they don't understand simple instructions, or even how they interact with others around them. We've all had this thought floating around um, with us as we work with them, as we are interacting with them. When I first started my new job, I had looked up to a coworker who was training me, who was teaching me all about, excuse me, all about this new job that I had. I mean, why wouldn't I? He was training me. He was my superior at the time. He was nice. He was funny. He dressed well. He seemed very likable, but that image didn't last long. Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't realize sooner when he didn't know the difference between different words and their um, different like versions of the word. When speaking of like writing an email, writing letters, giving letters of recommendation, all of that sorts. He looked like he knew what he was doing, but he didn't actually know. In this speech, I'll explain two examples of how looks can be deceiving and how words can reveal our true nature and character. I'll first talk about how, in the Aesop fable, The Ass and the Lion's Skin, the theme of looking nice may be deceiving, but words will show who you really are. Secondly, I'll tell a personal story very similar to the fable in a moral and lesson sense. Let's start with the Aesop fable, The Ass and the Lion's Skin. The Ass and the Lion's Skin is a Aesop fable with a lesson about foolish words. It tells the story of an ass that pretends to be a lion and is revealed by his voice being recognized. The story follows the ass who is dressed in a lion skin and scared people out of his village, which made him proud. The thing that made him seem a very certain way was his appearance, which obviously concealed his true nature. He appeared to be stronger and scarier than what he really was. In his pride, the ass made a noise of happiness, obviously not the noise of a real lion. He was instantly recognized through the way he was speaking and his voice, and the ass was reprimanded and punished by the owner for pretending to be something that he really wasn't. The end lesson was fine clothes may disguise, but silly words will disclose a fool. While this fable clearly shows how misleading appearances can be, I've seen the same lesson play out in real time. My coworker, while having a very put together and confident appearance, wasn't as put together as he seemed, especially not for the authoritative position he was put in. I don't necessarily think the issue was intelligence, it was more of a lack of application of what he was doing and how he was doing it. As I mentioned, his shortcomings and slip ups were often in professional settings and when interacting with customers and guests. In a casual situation, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but when it came to work, it was much more of an issue. I had originally looked up to him. My view of him had shattered and faltered since. I started trusting his words over his appearance, and being a teen or a new upcoming student stepping into a role that I was in, there were definitely high expectations and big shoes to fill in for someone my age. However, I was very determined to prove myself. I put my best foot forward and tried to learn as much as I could from him while keeping my expectations in check and learning to take everything with a grain of salt. I learned important lesson on not taking things at face value and letting people show me who they really are under their appearance. Like the fox at the end of the story, I know someone for their words and not their clothes. Both the fable and my personal experience both highlight the same important lesson, which leads me to my conclusion. Just like in Aesop's fable and in my own life, people have put in a lot of trust in someone's appearance, but it is important to look past it and look at how they truly put themselves forward. While many people, including myself, wonder if their coworker is ignorant, it goes to show how impactful words can be instead of just appearance. Thank you. Any questions?